about those women who have gone unremembered, unheard, unacknowledgement. The spirit and voice of all those women is echoed here today, and we should honor it and enjoy it. But even in that moment, I would like to honor and ask all of you to observe a minute of silence in respect to Fran Endicott. She too lives with us today.
There to keep women down. We've seen it on the shop floor, in the local community, and also in the quote-unquote global market, that women are being used, abused, and discarded. We cannot afford to separate the two struggles.
I am a Ganyagahaga person, people of the Flint. That is what I'd like to be known as. The word Mohawk is a Dutch word, meaning eaters of human flesh. And it's terminologies like that that have helped enhance the stereotype even in this day and age. My culture is matriarchal. And yet day in and day out, the government in Canada and the United States are dealing with men when it concerns the title of our land. It is the women who are the progenitors of our future and title holders. And I come to you from a community right now who feels very cynical about our non-native brothers and sisters, no matter what color they may be. Because 2 years ago, we lived in a war zone. We have never ceded our land and will not until the last traditional person draws their last breath. We will continue the struggle. We will continue to defend our land at whatever terms we feel we have to. Why are we still struggling with racism? The worst disease that the Europeans brought here to this continent. And while my anger is fueled because I do not see any change happening, my anger can also be used in a positive way, that I have the courage to come and do this. Because a lot of times I feel like I want to stay home and not talk, to shut my mouth. It's a very cozy feeling to be in your shell. And we do have to stop. We do have to unite and make those links.
tired of conferencing, you know, on racism and feminism. I'm tired of that mantra of gender, race, class, gender, race, class, gender, race, class. And I thought, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to actually act in it, you know. But I am tired of these choices. I need a place to speak about all of it at the same time, all of it as we experience it at once, without talk of betrayal, without talk of a divisible self, a place to live womanfully, with absolute integrity. And I think that it is possible, not only possible, but important. Important that we make alliances, not only on the basis of convenience or of bare necessity or desperation, but alliances which allow us to be all that we are. For this, I think, we must take control of the language of struggle, not just of inclusion, but of the thing itself. Yes, you are the voice of black struggle, not just a minor register. Yes, you are the voice of feminism, not just a variation on the theme. Yes, I are the voice of lesbians, not just an odd note on the scale. And yes, you are the voice of the class, not just the doo-wop girls on the working class.
I didn't know I was a feminist for many years, although I now realize that I was. I just didn't use the term, the label.
The other question that has bothered me for years is the word feminism, and I keep asking for a definition. And I know everybody has a different definition. And as a black woman, I want to know what it means, because I was born a feminist. My mother was born a feminist. The definition of what it is that I'm doing that doesn't make me a feminist, I would love to know.
I think there are a lot of women of my age who grew up during the 50s and the 60s who didn't realize why they didn't feel like other people did, why they felt at odds with the rest of the world, who didn't seem to fit in, and then finally discovered there was something they fitted into.
Because we are women first. Some of us are Aboriginal, some of us, the list is on. But the point is that I want to be one day asked to come to a conference and talk about my expertise because I'm an Aboriginal woman, or because I'm a woman, not because I have a disability.
And I would like to take part to the women's movement here, especially for Asian women.
Feminists generally have been pretty slow to recognize AIDS as a feminist issue, so...
C'est de l'ouverture pour s'inviter à créer des liens.
And making ourselves known to each other, and not always just measuring our community vis-a-vis European hegemony.
Mimi nimeona kwamba kuna umuhimu wa wanawake. Mimi nitakaporudi kuna umuhimu wa kuwakutanisha wanawake na kuwaeleza mambo yote nilioona huku. Alafu pia nimeona kwamba wanawake wanaweza wakakutana na kujadili matatizo yao pamoja.
Okay, she says that one thing she has learned, or one thing she has noticed, is that the importance of women organizing and discussing their own issues, together, separately from the issues of men.
Here is anti-racism and feminism, and people have never thought that Filipinos would be, victims of racism, but we do, and we've always been. We've been colonized for over 400 years by the Spaniards, and then the Japanese and the Americans. We seem to be very invisible as Asians. We're in the minority, and we are the most invisible Asian minority.
for me it's important to assert my Jewish Arabness is to, as a way of defying the neat categories of Arab versus Jew. You know, it's sort of opening and broadening our definitions about identities and what categories can be inclusive and other categories can be exclusive. This is a way of transgressing these borders of identity.
I think it's important that you see my face and the color of my skin. I think I seem like a black woman, is that right? I celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I have heard from an Indian woman with skin much darker than mine that she is not black. Yesterday I spoke with an African woman who said, "We are not the same as you African American blacks." And she let me know in a guarded way that she felt we were inferior, that is, Afro-American blacks. And I heard again, I have to say that when I go to the Native Women's Resource Center, they accept me as an Aboriginal woman. And I thank you as their representative. We've divided ourselves in a very serious way.
What's happening in the transformation of the women's movement, with NAC and other organizations, is we're making that real struggle for equality at a grassroots level visible at a national level by taking the kinds of stands that we've been taking. And we're going to take a beating for it. We are taking a beating for it. I mean, as a white middle-class woman, obviously, I don't face the same consequences that an immigrant woman who's fighting faces, or a black woman, or an Aboriginal woman, because I have that privilege.
Pero es un hecho que todas las mujeres que han salido adelante con un nombre internacional tuvieron que ser la señora D para hacerlo, y eso es un mensaje muy profundo a todas las mujeres del mundo, porque yo creo que es importante valer por lo que uno hace, por el esfuerzo personal, hombre o mujer, y sobre todo si tenga una dignidad para hacerlo. Nuestros pueblos nos han enseñado mucho y mucha gente ha muerto en este continente con mucha dignidad y con mucha convicción del futuro, y yo pienso que nosotros somos mujeres de convicción, mujeres que luchamos por ideales, y los ideales que tenemos es nuestro derecho y por ello trabajamos.
When we kind of look to that time, when we kind of look to all the things that, you know, my grandmother and my mother sacrificed for and all that, I think they sacrificed for me to have that voice, for me to say that, it is not a contradiction, you know, to be a free black woman. There's nothing contradictory in that line. You know, I just think of all our foremothers, the ones who made it across the passage and the ones who didn't. And I don't think they did all that, sacrificed all that, for us not to have a fuller vision of ourselves in the future. You know what I mean?
Because when we stand together, we are strong. When we start dividing ourselves amongst lines that have been imposed upon us as a people by patriarchy, by militarism, by colonialism, if we adhere to those rigid boundaries, we will not survive. And we have magnificent survival skills. When we look at our grandmothers, when we look at all of the values that we have been taught as Aboriginal people, the language of love, the language of human connection is the most powerful one that we have been given. We can change the world. It's up to me, it's up to you.
Imagine, just suppose, yes, the woman's poem. Imagine that our hands were linked, marching forward, constructing, connecting bridges, crossing, dividing oceans, creating delinkable links, shattering, binding chains. Imagine that our hands were linked, carving gorges for forceful waterfalls of women, flooding and drowning all forms of oppression into the ocean. Imagine that our wombs issued forth one populous female family of woman combatants, raising fists of reckoning victory, crowning the last step of the march forward. Imagine that our hearts were merged and minds were fused, composing one long creation poem, one non-ending feminist drama, starring a community of women so united no one can rip off. Starring a community of women so formidable, no patriarchy can molest, no racism can separate, no classism can divide.